Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take some time to end this long but productive week. Several of us have been diving headfirst into numerous things, and I just wanted to recap several of the things that I've been able to accomplish this week through the community that I've established here. First off, I started the week being able to guest lecture for an intro to cybersecurity class with Temple University. During that time, we were able to dive into how to break into this field, walk through my journey, but ultimately I was able to share some insights about cyber threat intel. Additionally, this week at work, during my day job, I've been diving headfirst into operational excellence task, finding ways to engage the organization to put security at the forefront of their mindset. Security is not just something that's in your job title, it's something we do. Every single one of us, no matter what position you hold at your company, have the ability to impact your security posture, which leads me into my Wednesday stream, where I set up time here and talked about the soft skills that's required to be productive inside of the InfoSec community. It's not just applicable to us who are practitioners, engineers, technologists, but it's also important that we're relatable. I talked about during that one, how do we go about making sure that we have critical thinking, that we have humor, we can problem solve. And then I moved into the curse of knowledge. Every single one of us are an expert in something, which means we're comfortable talking about certain topics. Those topics could be anything from nutrition, fitness, basket weaving, hiking, disc golf, or in this case, cybersecurity. But that means we use a lexicon that may not be understood by others. We may use terminologies that's not common language. So I challenge myself included to make sure that we start conversations with defining terminologies. Ensure that we don't use acronyms in normal conversations. Ensure that we take time to reflect on the message we're conveying. Is it concise? Is it clear? Does it allow individuals to understand the topic we're covering in a way that allows them to be able to repeat it and share it? To use the analogy for secure development, you want security champions in your organization. You want individuals who can take a message that security is pushing out to the developers in this case and share it externally. You want an advocate who's sitting in their respective line of business, who's able to be your eyes and ears, to offer micro learning and to be able to give back because they can articulate the message that we put down in a way that makes sense to them. So, for example, find a champion in your finance or accounting department. They have a very deep technology terminology, just like we do in information security or cybersecurity. So, relate it back to risk, relate it back to the gap principles of accounting, debits and credits. Make the analogies work for a finance accounting person. Make sure that you think like a novice again in this field. And then finally, today, I was able to give a workshop to individuals breaking into the industry around tabletops. I found out throughout my career, you can be in the field for decades and never be invited to a tabletop until you get to a certain position, certain organization. And they don't always understand the importance of a tabletop. So, for example, I'd like to walk through a few of those slides that we went through about how it's important to upskill your security and operations team, how you can ensure that every what a tabletop looks like and how do you go about doing that in a manner that is important as you to upskill your organization. So with that, I'm going to walk through with this a high level very quickly for what I used as a workshop today. We have to understand what a tabletop is. How do we use them to help prepare ourselves for proactiveness? The analogy I used throughout the talk today is you need to have premeditated decisions. You need to know what you're going to do before you have to do it. And you need to know how to use these in a safe space to practice your incident response processes, identify weaknesses and gaps, and improve the team coordination. Numerous people only think of the technical tabletops. These are the ones specific to intrusions, vulnerabilities, phishing, social engineering. But there's also operational ones where you're there to test your procedures and your communication workflows. And then higher, you're doing strategic, which is high level decision making during a security event. This may be one with just your C level. I also want to point out tabletops can be done for non-technical folks. You can do a security awareness tabletop where you invite end users in and give them a scenario and see how they respond to it. So think about how you can utilize the 3 different types of tabletops inside of your organization. So when designing your tabletops, you want to make sure you have clearly defined objectives that are achievable and realistic. And do you have the right personnel to implement those skills and those procedures? When you develop a scenario, make sure it's realistic and it engages and challenges the team's abilities, but also aligns with how the organization does business. What is going to cause an impact to the organization that exercises not just their IR, their incident response, but also maybe their disaster recovery or business continuity. See how it evolves into incident management versus just incident response. When building a scenario, choose the appropriate attack vector. Select a common attack, such as phishing or malware or social engineering. Where are you going to target? Are you going to target a specific line of business? Are you going to target the entire organization? You're going to target the network? And outline the steps of the attack. Is this a multi-day event? What is the potential consequences? What is the potential downtime of those? Incorporate injects throughout your presentation. These are unexpected changes and events that are introduced throughout the tabletop to test the team's adaptability. This could be removing a key resource. Someone gets sick. Someone's in a plane and can't make a decision. The authority who makes the final purchasing or payment decision is not in the office today. And they need to be timely because the team can't say, we'll just wait for Allison to land, or for Sally to make the payment, or for Joe to get back to implement the block. You need to have a deputy in charge inside of your incident response plan of who can make that decision when these individuals are not around. Types of injections include new attacks, new threats, changes in your organizational structure, as I just alluded to. This could also be political injects. A new law was placed, a new regulation was pushed down. These are injects to test the adaptability of your team. It starts with just being prepared. Brief your participants on the scenario and their roles. Conduct a simulation, recording the actions and decisions. Make sure you have a dedicated scribe. And then be able to do a debrief where you analyze the exercise, identifying strengths and weaknesses and areas for improvement. Debriefing is there to address issues that's been identified. You're reviewing and pinpointing the areas where the team struggled or made mistakes. Again, a tabletop needs to be a no-blame situation. Titles should be left at the door. You also can analyze the decisions that were made. Evaluate the team's decision-making process. Consider both success and ineffective choices. By pulling the strings, if I would have done this, this would have happened. It's your if-else statements or where statements that you would have in logic when you're writing code. Apply to how a tabletop debrief would go. So think about that the next time you set up a tabletop and how you use that for your debriefing. Tabletops are there to improve your incident response. They allow you to revise the existing incident response plan and procedures, playbooks, etc. It trains and educates both the SOC the IR team, as well as the business on what they would do depending on the type of attack. We're going to review a few of those as I go deeper into this presentation. Again, I'm hitting this as a high level. I spent much longer earlier today during my workshop. And then review and rinse and repeat. Think about how you're going to conduct these tabletops to maintain a readiness. Maybe implement it quarterly at first, and then monthly, and then weekly, starting with micro, and then growing it out, starting with just your SOC and IR, then adding IT, and then adding lines of businesses back in if you're going to do it on a regular cadence so that everyone is prepared. But at a minimum, I'd advise you to do it at least once, if not twice a year, for a full organizational tabletop. The benefits: it will improve your communication in your organization. Tabletops enhance teamwork. They simulate real-world experiences, so there's camaraderie, there's lessons learned. It enhances the response piece that comes along with it. It improves the effectiveness of your organization because they know what to do when the incident happens. It helps reduce vulnerabilities, reducing risk in your environment because you're aware of where the gaps are from a process and procedure, where your technical gaps are. And then it ultimately increases the confidence that you have in your team. It builds a preparedness among the different teammates. Tabletops and IR are one way to exercise things. Your incident response is just a piece of your tabletop. Your threat assessments are another piece. Communication, plan, development are a third and fourth piece. Take time to address these. Use tabletops to skill development. They allow you to practice in a safe place so that you're not practicing when a production system is down. You're not stuck when you get to a place and you're like, I don't know what to do next. You've been able to walk through this and you'll have fun with this. A tabletop also allows you to try and test unusual techniques, unusual things to see if they work. And if they work, you operationalize those into an SOP that can be put into your playbooks and runbooks. It enhances written and oral communication because you have to be able to do both effectively during an event. It allows you to build better planning and security awareness. Again, process improvements come out of tabletops. Your IR team, your SOC team can then write up reports on ways to enhance the organization's threat posture and security culture based on lessons learned and what processes failed and worked so that you can educate your employees. You can use tabletops for awareness, phishing awareness, social engineering awareness. These are great ways to build detections and response and protect the end user. We all know our end users are our primary attack vector. So spend time educating them, getting to know them, and interacting with them. A basic phishing attack can be something that can be done from an IR or a human-centric point of view. Share a phishing email with them that's impersonating a bank. See what they do. Your next inject is the email is designed to look extremely convincing. They made it look identical to the bank's real website when they look at the bait link. And then see what would happen if the user clicked it. Do they report it? Do they know how to respond? Do they know what to do in the event that they do fall victim to the social engineering phishing attack? Again, practice best practices in your tabletops. Clear objectives, realistic scenarios, engage, have active participation, and provide constructive feedback. Integrate your tabletops into your program. Build the regular cadence as I talked about. Schedule them regularly to ensure your team stays sharp and up to date. Vary the scenarios. Use different types of scenarios that test a variety of skills and procedures. And embed and incorporate feedback to make sure that you're constantly improving, that the loop is continuous and never closed, and that you're learning and growing together. We've briefly talked about this. This is just possibilities of using a tabletop of a phishing attack or a data breach or a ransomware attack, an insider threat, or a denial of service. These are all different tabletops that you can do. The scenarios, the outcomes, and the lessons learned from each and every one of them. Make sure that you take takeaways away from tabletops, how they enhance your preparedness, how they improve your communication, and how they enhance your team's coordination. Each of these can be a session and an hour inside of it that you focus on. To make sure you've equipped your team with knowledge and experience, that they know how to foster and effectively communicate among themselves during a critical event, that they can stay calm and stay collected, and that they can coordinate with each other. Implementation. Start small. Begin with simple scenarios, gradually increasing the complexity as your team gains experience. Again, practice regular. Maybe make it a weekly task on Friday morning. You're going to do a basic one with your SOC team every Friday morning to start the business day or right before lunch. Even better, feed them and let them work through lunch and allow them to see what they would do in the event that they had to work through that. And again, incorporate feedback into this process so you know what's working and what's not working. Tabletops are there for effectiveness. They're there to ultimately reduce your downtime, to enhance your incident response, and improve your posture. Going beyond your tabletops, it allows you to use engagements for your red team or your pen testers, which evolves from the simulation of your tabletop into what a malicious actor would do. Or during your scheduled pen test, identify the vulnerabilities and weaknesses in your systems that you can play back into your tabletops going forward. Even better, make it a purple team engagement where it's an adversary simulation, where the injects are actually real fires, but they're labeled as tests so that it doesn't kick off processes if you have an MDR, a managed detection and response, or your IR process immediately. Use your red team and your pen testing or purple team to draw out lessons learned from your tabletops, thus evaluating your security posture, your security awareness, your network security, your physical security. All of these are important and all of these can be tested. I alluded early on. Test your security awareness process. Do they know how to see something, say something? Do you have network detections in place in your firewalls and your intrusion detection, your content filters, your secure web gateways, your email gateways that can detect and give you alerting? Physical security. Practice. Does people understand how to say no to someone tailgating? That your badge readings work? That you understand what would happen if someone was to break into your facility? Would you be alerted by door alarms, window alarms, sensors? And then add the physical component onto it. They broke in and stole X amount of laptops. What was on those laptops? Is it business critical? Was it R&D data? Can you remotely wipe them? Think about these things as you're going through your tabletops to help evaluate your security posture. Stay informed. Read up on threats. Mirror your tabletops around your threats and vulnerabilities that are specific to your organization and your vector you work in. Review all of your controls regularly and adjust as needed while enhancing innovation, allowing for new security technologies and techniques to enhance your defenses. Each and every one of these can be implemented and executed and tested via a tabletop. So the future of security operations is automation and AI. We want to automate more and more of our security tasks to improve efficiency and reduce human error, while using generative AI to leverage to detect threats and analyze data and enhance your incident response. You can automate your workflows inside of your IRP. You can automate your responses with generative AI. You can use generative AI to summarize the reports for your tabletops, for your incident response that your scribe is using to make sure that you're effectively and concisely giving updates. So I concluded earlier, and I'll conclude with this. Tabletops are a valuable tool for upskilling your security professionals, improving your IR processes and procedures while embracing continuous improvement and being adaptive to the evolving security threats. So I'll bring it back now to just what I was talking about. This week has been fun. This week has been exciting. I opened the week with a guest lecture. I went live on Wednesday to talk about soft skills and the curse of knowledge. I had the pleasure of sitting through 5 presentations this week from undergrad students who are trying to break into the field and practice their public speaking while educating. Presentations such as how quantum computers will impact encryption. Ransomware as a service, the difference between incident management, incident response, understanding IoT devices, understanding data security and what your cars know about you. All that happened in just the last 5 days, plus my day job, where I was responding to alerts, interacting on projects, leading efforts to improve the security posture of my organization. This field is exciting. This field is growing. This field will continue to offer opportunities for us to pick each other's brains. So as I'm wrapping up now with my Friday debrief, I'm thankful for this community. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I'm able to give back. I'm thankful for the people who pour into me and check on me and make sure that I'm able to continue to give valuable feedback while I learn from others. Make sure, if you don't, find someone to be your mentor and mentee. That's another reason why all of these things this week has given me energy and has given me the ability to continue. I enjoy watching the next generation grow by passing the torch. I enjoy the challenges brought by leading a team who's responsible for identity, threat and vulnerability management, application security, and security operations. I get to learn about those disciplines day in and day out. Thankful to be able to mentor undergraduate students who are trying to break into the IT and security field. I'm thankful for the communities that invited me into their Discords, their Slacks, their Signal groups, who continue to pass knowledge on to me cheaply. This week has been filled with knowledge gathering and knowledge sharing. So if you're not involved, get involved. Find communities and just jump in. Go to local meetups. Interact with professionals and be a professional someone wants to come to for advice, for knowledge, and just someone who's going to be an ear. To end with it, I'll share now. This is a community. We are a family. Healthy competition is great, but be willing and able to give back because we all bring diversity. We all bring different experiences and perspective to every problem we face. Enjoy your night and have a great weekend, and I'll see you again the next time. Until then, stay safe, stay secure.